I hope this finds everyone well, and I am challenging myself at the moment to show up and to create some different videos that are presenting my work through a slightly different perspective, just to give myself the opportunity to find new ways to communicate what this work is about and what the business offers. And it kind of struck me that discussing motivations or intentions for it, being interested to explore voice and to explore vocal development is probably something that I've not touched on a great deal. And I thought that it would be interesting to kind of pull on that reserve of the reference point of many conversations I've had over the years with all different types of people, with voice being my fascination, my central focus and subject through which I think about life and think about moving into inquiry, and also thinking about the way that I connect with people and how I tune into their experience. It's all through that lens of voice. So I've had, as I say, many interesting conversations, just exchanges with people when you're talking about what you do and what your discipline is. And then of course with clients directly, or people that are being exposed to the work or engaging with the work. So yeah, trying to kind of construct this around the emphasis of why I promote holistic voice work. There's those three tenets of confidence, well-being, and creativity as outcomes of exploring this work, supporting growth and development in these areas. So in that respect, although there is a connection and a link between these qualities, that also is a good way to kind of gauge where are people particularly interested in, or like what category are they falling into in terms of their overall curiosity or objective when they're coming into the work. So yeah, those kind of become principles or reference points by which to segment confidence, well-being, and creativity. So that's broadly speaking, but then specifically and more generally, you then have people that are coming into a relationship of a new relationship of exploration, where they're maybe trying something that they haven't done before, and the nature of this work being holistic and multidisciplinary is really appealing to some people to try something new, because it's giving an immersive route way into getting a feel and a flavour for something that maybe feels completely alien, because there are these different avenues of exploration. Even if you are at your kind of early stage with that, you can take a few steps forward and still come away with a kind of a broad sense of what are the dimensions of this subject. So that's certainly one aspect. Then you've got people that are returning to a relationship with their voice, perhaps after having had a break away from creative practice, away from using their voice for pleasure. Maybe they used to sing. They may have done so in school or in college, and then there's been an extended period where they've not been immersed in that kind of expression. So they're returning to and trying to maybe reinstigate that relationship, rediscover, find out if they still have that pull towards it, whether it's motivated by a kind of performative desires or wanting to start to work with the voice again and train it, or perhaps there has been a break there because of for health reasons, or any number of reasons that might have actually determined that voice use or a period of voice use was not possible. Then just generally on the kind of creative quality, looking for a medium to explore and channel ideas, and also to cultivate flow. So voice being that kind of umbrella, but then all of the different channels that are possible to explore under that umbrella. For example, creative writing, drawing, any of the expressive arts, but then journaling, lyric writing, extending that perception about what voice is and through which channels it can be understood. If you think of a dancer or someone that is a movement specialist, there's often that discussion around what the voice of the body is communicating, or what the lyricism or the story or the narrative of movement. So regardless of what the individual's particular creative discipline may be, coming into this kind of work with the nature of that holistic framework again really provides a supportive philosophical lens, and also the tools and the exercises to then deepen and enhance other practices, or to actually refine a clearer, more tangible skill set as it relates to voice and vocal expression, both in vocalized and non-vocalized context. So simply meaning voiced expression, speech, singing, and unvoiced expression, as I've said, with all of these other mediums, whether that's through the written word or through making and doing and creating in that way. And certainly there are motivations and interests from people at a level that is thinking about their personal spiritual development or personal spiritual inquiry, and that in itself again is a vast landscape with lots of influences feeding into that, factors that motivate and push people towards, and also maybe people coming to exploration because they're moving away from something else. So that is a space where, if that happens to be the central theme that is of interest to somebody and has kind of pulled them towards this kind of work. People at all different stages of learning and development with that. And that's a really interesting avenue and space as well. And also the learning side of things, generally speaking, in terms of continued professional development or continued personal development, is massive, just as a something that inspires people to come into this kind of work as well, because it's giving yourself space to explore, giving yourself the opportunity to grow and to maybe uncover, discover, learn things about yourself, and that is a lifelong process. And speaking as a lifelong learner and someone that really, that's like a philosophy that I like to uphold through my own facilitating and space holding. So naturally it's really nice to attract people into a dynamic where that is also something that resonates for them, and also that carries that understanding through the way that they're approaching or entering into any kind of learning journey, or engaging with tools and resources that I've created, is that it's often not a linear process, quite often a spiraling flow that asks you to revisit different themes again and again over time, and that also pulls in people of different ages into this kind of work too, because we all have pause points and shifts and changes, and as you start to kind of track and map those out in a sense of a bit of a timeline, you do start to notice patterns in pause points or shifts where you feel inspired to or recognize, like, okay, this is now a period of learning, development, and then maybe like consolidation and integration. So yes, that is a big pull for people as well, just to have another avenue through which they can learn new things and come back perhaps into that curiosity of like a beginner's mindset, and also childlike play, and it's always fun to explore that kind of inner child desire to tap into that play space through mediums that are exploring musical tools and creative tools, because it feels like quite naturally a space that, yeah, it holds a nice container for that which has the opportunity to be really safe. And the safety piece, I guess, also in terms of people's motivation to look for a learning and exploration container that is actually held for them, with adaptability, flexibility, and being tailored to their particular accessibility needs, has that really foundational quality of like, how can we make this space safe for you? Because people have all different kinds of backgrounds, all different kinds of experiences, and carry all different kinds of things with them that sometimes can emerge through exploring any kind of deep work, or might actually be something that wants to be invited into a space to explore as well. So that aspect, it grows and stretches in tandem with my own personal capacity and my own learning process as I build those foundations in place to really feel like, is this the kind of space that I would feel with my personal reference points, my personal history? Is this a space in which I would feel safe and comfortable? So that's the first kind of guiding principle, and then that expands out into other frames of reference to then bring in the more trauma-informed perspectives to actually construct that in a way that is tangible and meaningful for other people that, are drawn into this work, but also, quite rightly so, want to have that assurance that this space is for them and it can be held for them appropriately. And coming back to the 5 elements model and framework, thinking about the voice from the psychological, physiological, social, emotional, and spiritual aspects, those, in addition to the confidence, well-being, and creativity qualities, those become avenues for me by which I can identify and clarify, okay, is there a particular flavor or a particular angle through which this individual's lens is focused, either with that pre-existing intention of like, this is kind of something that I feel pulled towards, or whether that's something that emerges more clearly through that initial foundation building and consultation process of trying to figure out, okay, like, what is the shape that wants to flow out of this individual journey that's being crafted in a kind of one-to-one dynamic. So those are the broader frames of reference, alongside then all of the anecdotal stuff that people share just about, this is where I'm at and this is like maybe what's going on for me, and that can be communicated also through the sense of, these are the things that seem to be coming up when I try to express myself in the way that I want, and maybe that there are some barriers that have been identified without necessarily the awareness of how to work with those in a constructive and positive and compassionate way to try and support moving through those. So yes, there are many more examples that I could give, but I think that feels like a good point to draw that thought to a close. And as I say, I'm just inviting myself into this quality of space more often, and also kind of from a different point of view, to just to start to broaden out that conversation and understanding a little better. And and I trust that over time as well, this process for me will become more comfortable and become clearer also. And inviting anyone at any point also to engage with that conversation and share, like, what are your interests in voice, or if you're already exploring and working with your voice on any level through any medium. I'd be really interested to know what is your channel, what is your flavor of voice? Where are you coming from? Or if it's something that you are not yet playing with, but you are feeling curious or drawn to this work, can you identify already where you feel your particular area of interest is, or are you able to express that in any way that you feel you'd like to share? Because I'd love to know. And until next time, I will check in again soon, and happy exploring, everyone.